East Coast. It's 11 o'clock Eastern, 9, 10, 12 o'clock Eastern. This is Backchannel. It's Friday, May 6, 2022. I'm Anthony Davis, and welcome to Backchannel. This is the only place where you can use your Echo device to listen to live shows and chat with hosts in real time. I'm Anthony Davis. I'm here, as you know, every weekday. And if you want to get involved or send a chat or send a message or chime in on what we're talking about or anything else you want to send our way, then you're very welcome to. And if you can see me right now and you're watching on an Echo show or Fire TV, the magic word is say. So wake up your device, say the word say, and then your message. If you're listening right now on an Echo speaker and you can't see me, go to backchannel.tv and click Join the Chat. That's backchannel.tv and click Join the Chat. Okay, lots to talk about, lots to work our way through this morning. We've got the morning papers to look at. We've also got several interesting topics regarding the USA having the world's highest COVID death toll. I think they also revised the figures for the whole world. You know, they thought 5 million people had died across the world, and it turned out it's 15 million. So we'll look at that as well. Also, who is Karine Jean-Pierre? She might be the new press secretary at the White House, but we'll find out. Moon soil can turn carbon dioxide into oxygen and could support life in space, the study finds. And on this day, join John Steinbeck. The Grapes of Wrath won the Pulitzer Prize. So we'll be looking at that book and, of course, the man himself. All to come here on Backchannel. Thank you to you if you're jumping in and joining in the thread, joining in with the messages. It would be great to chat to you. If you are around, then do your thing. You know how to do that. We're going to look at the morning papers as well. You've also got the subscribe feature to click on as well. If you see the subscribe button in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, you can click on that, and that would be great. Okay, let's look at the New York Times. We'll start this morning with, as Ukrainians retake ground in East Russia breaches steel factory, is the headline. Yes, fighting raged on Thursday across eastern Ukraine, from the Kharkiv area in the north, where Ukraine forces regained ground, to Mariupol in the south, where Russians breached the last Ukrainian redoubt in a steel plant. As Moscow's forces battled to present Vladimir Putin versus President Vladimir V. Putin with something that he can call victory. Some of the most ferocious combat took place between those two poles, in or near the north of the Donetsk region, where the earth heaved with constant artillery bombardment. Russian forces approached from the east, north, and south, vainly trying to trap and destroy Ukrainian units in and around the cities of Kramatorsk and Sloviansk, I think that is, and the towns of Lyman and Barvinkov. So there we go. That's the latest coming out of Ukraine. Also, in abortion fight, pills could be the next focus, is the headline. Oh, yeah, I mean, I've been reading some insane stuff about abortion law, which some conservatives now are trying to not just make it illegal, but they're trying to make anybody who performs an abortion, they want to put them up on a murder charge. That's could be where this heads. This says if the Supreme Court overturns Roe v. Wade, the legal and culture wars over abortion that have consumed the United States for decades will increasingly shift to a new front, the use of abortion pills. Medication abortion, a two-drug combination that can be taken at home or in any location and is authorized for use in the first 10 weeks of pregnancy, has become more and more prevalent and now accounts for more than half of recent abortions in the United States. If the federal guarantee of abortion rights disappears, medication abortion will probably become an even more sought-after method for terminating a pregnancy, and the focus of battles between states that ban abortion and those that continue to allow it. So, I mean, this is just going to get worse and worse for those people that believe that a woman should have a right to choose. WHO finds COVID deaths vastly higher, as I mentioned. It says nearly 15 million more people died during the pandemic than would have in normal times, the World Health Organization said on Thursday. A staggering measure of COVID's true toll that laid bare how vastly country after country has undercounted victims. In Mexico, the excess death toll during the first 2 years of the pandemic was twice as high as the government's official tally of COVID deaths, the WHO found. In Egypt, excess deaths were roughly 12 times as great as the official COVID toll. In Pakistan, the figure was 8 times as high. And those estimates, calculated by a global panel of experts, reassembled by the WHO, represent what many scientists see as the most reliable gauge of the total impact of the pandemic. So there it is. What else do we have? US intelligence aided Ukraine in its strike on Russian flagship. Yes, this could backfire, couldn't it? Because if Russia finds out that this is the case, which of course it has, then it will probably want to blame the US for this. It says the US provided intelligence that helped Ukrainian forces locate and strike the flagship of Russia's Black Sea Fleet last month. Another sign that the administration is easing its self-imposed limitations on how far it will go in helping Ukraine fight Russia, officials said. The targeting help, which contributed to the eventual sinking of the flagship, is part of a continuing classified effort by the Biden administration to provide real-time battlefield intelligence to Ukraine. That intelligence also includes sharing anticipated Russian troop movements gleaned from recent American assessment of Moscow's battle plan for the fighting in the Donbass region of eastern Ukraine, the officials said. So there we go. That's how the New York Times looks this morning. There's a story about rent there, looking at the highest rent increases since 2013. I don't know how anybody can afford to live in New York. I mean, you can, but you end up living in like a shoebox. Logan's joined us. Zuo's in. Stacey's here. Diligent Porcupine. Good morning to you. Diligent Porcupine is here for the first time, so you're welcome to click the subscribe button as well, if you fancy, if you'd like to send me a message. And you can see me right now, and you're watching on an Echo show or a Fire TV. The magic word is say. So wake up your device, say the word say, and then your message. And if you're just listening right now on an Echo speaker and you can't see me, go to backchannel.tv and click join the chat. That's backchannel.tv and click join the chat. Okay, so there we go. That's how that looks. So Logan says hi. Hi, Logan. Great to see you in Moab, wherever that may be. Right, next up, let's jump on to the next newspaper. That's the LA Times, which is where I am today. A long journey to safer ground is the headline. Ukrainians fleeing the country's embattled east by train recount what they left behind. Yeah, I mean, these train journeys, they're just so reminiscent of evacuations during the Second World War, aren't they? And an image of passengers arriving at the station in Lviv after a 22-hour train journey from Dnipro in Ukraine, having left behind the horrors of the Russian invasion in their cities. Some were anxious, but also relieved. They say it's impossible. It's a field battle. Trenches and artillery, constant artillery. It never stops. That was the words of Francis Dion, a soldier from Montreal, referring to combat in eastern Ukraine. Yes, so many visitors, so many people have joined the fight now. Carla, I can't see you, darling. You seem to have, you're in a permanent pause, if you're able to unpause yourself. A new focus on pill access is the headline. A surge in medication abortions points to a changing battleground in post-Roe America. The future of abortion in the US is moving to the mailbox. Medication abortion, in which a woman takes 2 drugs to terminate an early pregnancy at home, became the most commonly used method in the US during the COVID-19 pandemic, particularly after the FDA stopped requiring the prescription be dispensed at healthcare facilities and allowed it to be delivered directly to users. Well, many online pharmacies around the world ship them without a prescription at all. As the Supreme Court prepares to give states the power to ban abortion, medication abortion could be a game changer. The last option for women in conservative states who are unable to travel elsewhere to end their pregnancies. Crime and abuse at Union Station. It says as homeless people shelter in the LA landmark, workers face increasing threats, it says. Janitor Gerardo Mixcolt heard the cry as he was preparing to sweep and refill the toilet paper at a men's room at Union Station. Maria, who works with him, she screamed, "Come and help me." She'd entered the women's bathroom and she felt a blow on the back of her neck, and she turned. A homeless woman pushed her to the floor, hit her repeatedly with a mallet, according to court records. Wow. Yes, 235 assaults and battery cases at the LA County Metropolitan Transportation Authority, documented between the start of the pandemic and March 2020 in February. Yeah, I mean, we have to remember that there are people working these types of jobs where they are exposed to all types of people, you know? He said half a dozen other workers at Union Station say the danger is even worse than the official statistics reflect. Wow. It's a beautiful station, Union Station, kind of Art Deco space, but it's also a haven for the homeless. Aha, welcome back. Welcome back. Drought reveals harsh facts, it says. The body in Lake Mead isn't the only grim surprise. Yes, that's right. Lake Mead became drained, didn't it, because of climate change, and then they found a body in a barrel at the bottom of it. And they reckon it's from the 70s or the 80s. Someone tipped a metal canister containing the remains of a man. And it's been there this whole time. I mean, anybody that packs a human into a bag or a barrel needs their head examined. A man was found in a sports bag near where I lived, in the next street, in the tub. And he wasn't just folded up in the sports bag, it was zipped up. It was zipped, so he couldn't have done it himself. Do you know this story? He was an MI5 agent. Well, it's out of my comfort zone as well, but I mean, this was literally in the next door street to me. And I was like, really? They folded him up and put him in a sports bag. They didn't dismember him, they literally just folded him up. Incidentally, every Wednesday and Friday, I'm going to be giving you the chance to win a $25 Amazon gift certificate. And all you have to do is stay tuned, and in the second hour of the program, all will be revealed. So if you'd like to win yourself a $25 Amazon gift voucher, then stay with the show. That's all you have to do. Easy. Also, a reminder that I'm Anthony Davis. This is Backchannel, and if you are enjoying the show, there's two ways you can support us that will really help us out. Just go to the subscribe button on your bottom left-hand corner of the screen. Subscribing will let you know when we're going live. We've got some plans coming up for people who are subscribed. So be a VIP and click subscribe. Another way you can help us is by leaving a review. So go to backchannel.tv and click leave a review. Thank you for your messages. Let's check in with who's here. Logan says, my name's not Logan, it's Gabby. Hi, Logan. Gabby. And I think Logan keeps saying my name's Gabby. But maybe you need to tell the device to change your name to Gabby. I think you can do that. Just say, change my name to Gabby, and it will change it. Oh, yes, that's right. There's a British sports presenter called Gabby Logan. Yeah, interesting. And what else do we hear? Lots of no names joining us. You can change your names as well if you want to. Uri is with us. Gigantic Penguin has slid on in. And Zuo and Stacy and Diligent Porcupine. So welcome to you all. Don't forget to leave a review at backchannel.tv. Today is giveaway day. $25 you can win. I'll tell you more in just a little while, so stay with us. It's a $25 Amazon voucher, which will get you all sorts of things. But I saw the Echo speaker was reduced to, I think, $25. The Echo Dot, big fan of that. I have so many Echo speakers in my house, literally everywhere. You say her name in my house, literally everything starts pinging. It's insane. Okay, let's go to Florida now, and to the Times Union. They lead this morning with tech firm buying Black Knight, Intercontinental Exchange, to pay $13.1 billion. This is the Jacksonville-based mortgage technology powerhouse, Black Knight. negotiating a deal to be sold for $13.1 billion to a company that operates the New York Stock Exchange and other exchanges. Intercontinental Exchange also sells mortgage technology and billed the purchase of Black Knight as a step to grow its revenue from that industry while eliminating expenses from redundancies. So there we go. That's the Florida Times-Union this morning. Abortion access rally draws crowd downtown. It says after a draft opinion by the Supreme Court leaked on Monday night showing the court may overturn Roe v. Wade, Women's March Florida's Jacksonville chapter organized a rally for Wednesday that turned out several hundred people in support of abortion rights. So there we go. And solar panel advocates laud veto by DeSantis. Yes, solar advocates are celebrating a win for consumers and the industry, they say, after Governor Ron DeSantis vetoed a bill that sought to phase out financial incentives for rooftop solar. The veto protects thousands of jobs in the state, and it protects consumers' rights against the monopoly utilities that were trying to pull an end around, said Joe Magro of Blue Ocean Solar Strategies in Tarpon Springs, who was among the dozens who traveled to Tallahassee during the legislative session to ask lawmakers to oppose the bill. I mean, this just proves that the energy companies really have no interest in climate change, and really they are just desperate for us to, be the ones to keep paying them in return for fossil fuel. That's really their interest. Air dock to hold largest U.S. airship is the headline on the front of the Akron Beacon Journal this morning. Yes, the largest airship to be built in the United States since the 1930s is expected to start taking shape later this year inside the Akron Air Dock, with its first flight possibly coming in 2023. And the beginnings of the project involved a get-together for a cup of coffee years ago at the Courtyard by Marriott, at the outskirts of downtown Akron. It's called Pathfinder 3. It's a huge all-electric airship designed by LTA Research. It's in the final planning stages. Prototype carbon fiber and titanium framing has been put together inside the air dock for testing. Pilots are undergoing flight training using sophisticated simulators, and the air dock itself is undergoing renovations and updating. What you mean in an airship? Have you been in an airship? Oh yes, simulators. I've been in plenty. I thought you said you wanted to go into an actual airship. I actually used to own a commercial simulator where I trained pilots in London. I built it by hand in a pilot shop, which I had a kind of a shared ownership of. And it was so random. I was a pilot, and I moved into a house in London, and on the same street as the house that I'd bought was a commercial pilot shop. There's only one in London, and it was on my street. Isn't that ridiculous? And so, obviously, I got to know the people in the shop, and then eventually there was an opportunity to buy it, and I built this simulator in the basement, and pilots used to come in and rent it, and I would sit with them. So I spent a lot of time in that simulator. I mean, it didn't move or anything. It was static, but it did have kind of sound and vibrations. I bought like seats that vibrated. It was really exciting. But aside from that, yeah, I've been in a few commercial simulators, the hydraulic ones that go up and down, which are incredible. And there's a whole bunch of simulators across the UK. They make it, they turn it into like you can like book it as an away day, like you can book it an hour on a simulator as a gift for somebody. Kind of fun. They're not cheap though. They're not cheap. There used to be a thing down at the Docklands on the Isle of Dogs that was a Emirates. It's called the Emirates A380 Experience, where they had 4 simulators that anybody could go on, and it was brilliant. I wonder if that's still there. So I would love to do that again. It was the Emirates A380 Experience down at the Docklands. Flora thankful for run on American Idol. This is a photograph of Walsh Jesuit High School junior Her name is Emerson Flora, was back on campus on Thursday. After finishing in the top 10, she went onto American Idol and got eliminated from the show on Sunday. So I think she got time off school in order to do this. I hope it was worth it. Some nursing homes charging high fees to install cameras. That's interesting. I mean, it's not a bad idea if you've got an elderly relative in a private room in a nursing home. To be able to keep an eye on them with a camera like a baby monitor is actually a very good idea if you think about it. Okay, so that's the Akron Beacon Journal for us this morning. A reminder that every Wednesday and Friday here on Backchannel, I'll be giving you the chance to win a $25 Amazon gift certificate. All you have to do is stay tuned into the second hour of the program, and all will be revealed. It's all to come here on the Backchannel. Let's go to Texas now. The El Paso Times. Battle for Mariupol steel mill rages on. I mean, this steel mill, just so you know, is huge. It's like 4 square miles, you know? And so it's a really large area. And that's why it seems like it's taking forever, but it's because it's significant, you know? Simply huge. What else? You're among famous friends is the headline. Sports bar opens in El Paso and serves up tasty food and good times. I'll have some of those good times, please. In contrast, 2 arrested in fatal shooting during car gathering in El Paso. I don't know why I feel like El Paso is like a really dangerous place. Why do I feel that? You know what I mean? It feels like it might be somewhere. It sounds like it's going to be like, you know, especially East El Paso. There's going to be a murder. Yeah. It's worrying. Something's going to happen. The Daily News for Galveston County. Houston consultant behind vitriolic campaign ad. This is a political consultant known for promoting conservative politicians, is behind a withering advertisement that circulated last week targeting mayoral incumbent Craig Brown. Does it say what it is? Doesn't really say what it is. That's a shame. Doing more with less. It says fewer people and more money in Galveston during pandemic. It says a surfer catches a wave near the 61st Street fishing pier in Galveston on Thursday. According to data from the Galveston Island Park Board, the number of visitors to the island declined during the pandemic, but the amount they spent increased. Well, maybe people had more money in their pockets because they weren't spending it on other stuff, you know. City County warned not to let Cinco de Mayo party block voters. Oh, this is an election day party in downtown Galveston has drawn a warning from the Texas Secretary of State's office, which this week cautioned city officials that too many traffic disruptions could lead to a violation of state voting rules. This is interesting, isn't it? Yes, because it's Cinco de Mayo. I think it is today. And there's a celebration in front of the county courthouse. Oh, it was yesterday. I'm sorry, it was yesterday. People across the state were voting for municipal level candidates, school bonds, school board candidates, and 2 constitutional amendments. The Galveston County Courthouse is one of the busiest polling places on Election Day. So you can see that could be a problem. 60 years after its incorporation, League City celebrates. That's League City. There we are. OPEC opens oil taps gradually as Russian war roils market. This is OPEC and allied oil production countries decided on Thursday to gradually increase the flows they send to the world. Even as Europe's plan to sanction Russian oil threatens to yank millions of barrels off a global market already thirsty for crude oil. Yeah, I mean, you know, this is countries that are having to compensate for the fact that Russian oil now is not forthcoming because people don't want to obviously support the war, and also they don't want to pay in rubles. So there's a lot going on there, you know. A reminder that Backchannel has a growing list of shows, including Haley and Allison's Good Morning. You can start your morning from 3 a.m. Pacific, 6 o'clock Eastern, with 2 hours of silly fun and games. Haley and Allison and producer Will have trivia, as well as the answers to your burning questions and the news you might have missed. They're followed by Live Every Day with Liv Harrison from 5 a.m. Pacific. That's 7 o'clock Eastern. 5 a.m. Pacific, 6, 7, 8. It's not. It's 8 o'clock Eastern. 5 o'clock is 8 o'clock. Have I been saying it wrong the whole time? Maybe I have. If it's 5 a.m. Pacific, that's 8 a.m. Eastern, isn't it? Join Live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday to celebrate the little things in life in an extraordinary way. So it's Live every other day, you know? Candid conversations, lots of laughs, plenty of coffee will fuel you and encourage you to live every day. And then on air just before me is Get On Up with Jam and Renee. You can wake up on the West Coast with Community and Conscious Living. Jam and Renee have it all covered, from what people think to who's wearing what. You'll leave entertained and enlightened every day and learn how to play it all forward, you know? So there we go. That's kind of fun, isn't it? Okay, a little reminder to you. Let's just jump onto this here, that you're with Backchannel. I'm Anthony Davis, as you know, and if you're enjoying the show, there's two ways to support the show that would help us out. If you can see me right now, you can hit the subscribe button on that Echo show. Another way is to go and leave a review at backchannel.tv. I'm here Monday through Friday from 9 o'clock Pacific. That's 11 o'clock Eastern. No, it's 12 o'clock Eastern. It's 3 hours, not 2. And if you want to have join the conversation, be part of it, send a chat, then just say the magic word to wake up your device, then the word say, and then your message. And if you're listening right now on an Echo speaker and you cannot see me, go to backchannel.tv and click join the chat. That's backchannel.tv to join the chat. And lots of people have done that. Thank you very much. Lots of no names. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Stacey says leave a review on the Amazon Alexa app. Just go to the Backchannel skill. Betsy's joined us as well. Welcome. Nice to see you. Gabriel has changed the name now, so that's good. That's a good name change there. And Ken's joined us, and Gabriel's saying, I have an Alexa app and a Fire tablet. That's exciting, isn't it? So thank you very much for all of your messages. Keep them coming in the usual way, if you'd like to. Let's jump back into some more of the morning papers here. We're going to go to Michigan and to the Muskegon Chronicle for Michigan. I don't think we've done this one before, have we? Muskegon Chronicle? We must have done, because I recognize the logo, MC. Oh, it's like a newspaper group. Okay, that's cool. Talking about race or sex in schools, Americans are divided, it says. I mean, it's just a joke, the fact that, I do wish that Americans would step outside their own country for a minute and see what's happening in the rest of the world, you know? Americans are deeply divided over how much children in K-12 schools should be taught about racism and sexuality, according to a recent poll, as Republicans across the country aim to make parental involvement in education a central campaign theme this election year. Overall, Americans lean slightly toward expanding, not cutting back, discussions of racism and sexuality, but roughly 4 in 10 say the current approach is about right, including similar percentages across party lines. Still, the poll last month from the University of Chicago Harris School of Public Policy and the Associated Press shows stark differences between Republicans and Democrats who want to see schools make adjustments. Around 4 in 10 Republicans say teachers in local public schools discuss issues related to sexuality too much, while only about 1 in 10 say too little. Among Democrats, those numbers are reversed. I mean, look, teachers are trained to teach. They have been since time began. And that's the reality of this. You know, trust the teachers. Good teachers. Pay teachers well. Educate, train teachers well. Don't, because they'll end up being a backlash, and teachers just won't want to teach anything. In the meantime, a flurry of new state laws has been introduced meant to curtail teaching about racism and sexuality, to establish a Parents' Bill of Rights that would champion curriculum transparency and allow parents to file complaints against teachers. I mean, this is so wrong. Teachers are goodies, not baddies. It's terrifying. Can you imagine what it would be like to have a teacher trying to teach a class, knowing that at any time a person in the classroom could just, complain about them and have them punished? When it comes to the curriculum, I understand if it's a more serious crime like corporal punishment. But, if they're just trying to teach. And the other thing about really good teachers is that the ones that I always connected with were the ones who were a little bit naughty. The ones who were a little bit off-piste, who were a bit more fun. The ones who did teach about racism and sexuality, they were the ones that I was interested in. Don't want to learn about algebra. The push for legislation grew out of an elevated focus on K-12 schools during the pandemic, when angry parents crowded school board meetings to voice opposition to school closures, mask mandates, and other restrictive measures intended to prevent the spread of illness. All that's happening these days kind of goes against the longer history of school boards being relatively low salience government institutions, and in a lot of cases they are non-partisan offices. What distinguishes this moment is the grassroots anger in response to school policies and the national coordinated effort to recruit partisan candidates for school boards and local offices. I mean, this is all Trump. This is all the legacy of Trump. He has literally infected every aspect of the culture. And people don't realize, They think he's gone out of sight, out of mind. And it's like, no. This is the moment you sow dissent in official institutions, suddenly people are like, I mean, this is the Civil War, if you think about it, isn't it? This is the Civil War. The war against teachers is the Civil War. The war against women's rights is the Civil War. The war against LGBTQ rights is the Civil War. It is a war of civilians against each other. So anybody who says the Civil War could happen, you're missing the point. It's already happening. I mean, look at hate crime against Asian Americans since Trump referred to the Kung flu and the China virus. And there was a survey done last week that said that anger towards Asian Americans is increasing now. It's increasing now. It's just so sad. I mean, we're now hearing that actually it might not have been anything to do with Wuhan that caused this. It could have been climate change that caused the coronavirus. Which, of course, Trump doesn't believe in, nor does DeSantis or, Greg Abbott or any of these, staunch right-wing characters. They don't believe in climate change, or they're just deniers. And so consequently, they're going to think that any study that suggests that climate change caused the pandemic, or indeed future pandemics, they're going to say is a Democratic hoax. Yeah, that's true. If you're looking for somewhere to go eat this weekend, go to an Asian restaurant. And also, you don't have to discriminate between the Asians. You can go for a Taiwanese meal, or you can go for a Thai meal, or you can go for a Chinese meal. Because the hate crime is not being specific. The hate crime is across all people. Yeah. I yesterday came across a TikTok video of a girl who, I'm not sure where she was, somewhere in Middle America, and she was a single mother, young single mother, with a baby. And she was living in an apartment next door, the actual apartment. She shared a wall with a racist, a guy who is like a white supremacist racist who's also at law school. And she kind of recorded some of the things he was saying, these racist tropes. And she was just like despairing, and she videos herself like knocking on his door and saying, I can hear you, like everything you're saying, because she's black and he's white. everything you're saying I can hear through the door, through the wall. And he doesn't apologize. He's like, oh, okay. And so she exposes him for his racism. She shows a photo of who he is and which college he's at. And then she appealed to people to raise some money so she can go and stay in a hotel. So I sent her enough money for 2 nights in a hotel. I never met this person in my life, but I was just so completely blown away by her appeal. And so I Venmo'd her, and she just sent me a little message on Venmo back, like with a thank you and crying. I never met this person, but her plea was so compelling. Like, I really felt her pain to have to live next door to somebody who is an outwardly racist person. And this is happening everywhere now, So, if you want to donate to charity, this is like the new charity. It's like literally protecting people from racism, whether it be Asian Americans or Black Americans, supporting people, giving them, the support and showing your support. It's crazy that this is what we have to do now, but this is the reality, I think. Thank you for your messages. Ashley's popped in for the first time, listening in. You can go to backchannel.tv if you'd like to send a message. Descriptive Gopher is here. Welcome. Stacey says some people just don't care about what the teachers teach. Well, I have kids, obviously, and I think about this. I trust the teachers to teach. Like, I know that my kids have good teachers because I've met them, and I respect them, and I trust them. And so I want them to do their job. Can you imagine if, somebody kept showing up and telling me how to do this job? I mean, obviously, Carla does that, and she's allowed to. But, can you imagine? It's like, to tell me how to do my job, this is my job. You do your job. You imagine standing at the front of a classroom, having had, 20 years experience as a teacher, and suddenly having parents who know nothing about teaching tell you how you should do your job. It's so offensive. I tell you what's going to happen. There's going to be a mass exodus of teachers from the industry. And they'll all just go and work in Starbucks. Right. No, well, is that because in the UK there's been an exodus of nurses? Is that because the NHS pay rise was something like 0.25%? Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I really feel like we undervalue people's time. And I have a friend I was talking to about this yesterday, and I actually mentioned it yesterday, who works in catering. And the boss emailed everybody and said, you are expected to work 16 to 18 hours a shift. 18 hours a shift in the catering industry. I mean, how's that even humanly possible? 18 hours. And so I looked up modern slavery, because, contemporary slavery is a whole genre. It's not just confined to people who are in state penitentiaries, who are, doing forced labor. It's actually out in the open. People who are forced to work longer hours than is acceptable. And it's slavery, And I said to my friend, just tell your boss that slavery was abolished 200 years ago and see how that goes down. You can't work humans like that. It's not fair. And my fear is that in America especially, because, in Europe we have laws. The law is you work 8 hours, and then if you can work 2 more hours than that, but you have to be paid time and a half for those extra 2 hours. And then if you have to work 2 more hours beyond that, so that would be a maximum of 12 hours, you have to get double time, twice your pay. And that's the maximum. So it's 8, 2 hours overtime is 10, 2 more hours overtime is 12, but the pay goes up significantly. And that's the European, that's your human rights are protected in that way. And we've all done a 12-hour day, and we know what that feels like. But 18 to do regularly? Danielle's joined us. Sharon is popped in as well. It's very interesting to me that, we are starting to encroach on the livelihoods of people like teachers who are professional people. Professional people are amazing, like people who've been properly educated. I'm not properly educated. I don't have a qualification to my name, really. But I've always had great respect for people that are. And teachers do a lot of training for the right reasons, Let's jump back to some of the morning papers this morning. We just looked at the Muskegon Chronicle. Let's go next to the Lansing State Journal for Michigan. They lead this morning with "Ready for brunch. Here are 6 Greater Lansing eateries to consider." Do you know, I've really started to kind of get excited. I'm traveling to London in a few weeks' time. And I'm getting really excited about like restaurants and places that I used to frequent. And I've been looking up. Carla, I don't know if you're aware, if you're a fan of the cheeseburger, but I am a big fan of or I used to be a big fan of the cheeseburger before I became a vegan fool. But Byron, which was my favorite burger chain in England, it had 60 restaurants in England. I looked it up. It's now got like 10 restaurants and only 2 of them are in London. And there used to be like 20 in London. This was a company that clearly over-leveraged, you know? Post-pandemic, 2 restaurants left. There's a very interesting... I mean, I went vegan because I watched a documentary. That was basically it. You know, I watched a documentary called The Game Changers on Netflix. And with Arnold Schwarzenegger. And it just like... I was just like, hang on a second. And it's true. Look, whenever I ate meat and dairy, I always felt exhausted afterwards. I just did. And now I eat and I don't have that feeling where I'm like lying there afterwards like, oh, in agony, you know, like I have energy all the time now. And that's for me the main difference. And also the cholesterol going down. I'm back on the iron tablets off your recommendation the other day. I forgot that I had them actually, so I've started back on the iron tablets. You know, maybe I've been watching too many like TikTok videos of people cooking meat because there's a lot of those on there. You know, and I've been like, oh, it does look fantastic. I used to love a béarnaise sauce. You know, a béarnaise sauce on a fillet steak. Are you kidding me? It's just dreamy. It's dreamy. But you look at a béarnaise sauce and it looks back at you and it just literally... béarnaise sauce is cholesterol. Like, the consistency of it. If you were to, like, feel it in your fingers, that's what cholesterol looks like and feels like. It's going straight to the arteries, that stuff. Okay, so that was the Lansing State Journal, basically just promoting a restaurant, which is nice. A reminder that every Wednesday and Friday here on Backchannel, I'll be giving you the chance to win a $25 Amazon gift certificate. All you have to do is stay tuned in for the second hour of the program, and all will be revealed. So that's something to look forward to. I'm Anthony Davis. This is Backchannel. We're live every weekday, Monday through Friday, from 9 o'clock Pacific. That's 12 o'clock Eastern. You can send me a message if you can see me right now and you're watching on an Echo Show or Fire TV. The magic word is say. So wake up your device, say the word say, and then your message. And if you're listening on an Echo speaker and you can't see me and you'd like to message, go to backchannel.tv, click join the chat. That's backchannel.tv and click join the chat. That's how it works. Super easy. Thank you for your messages. Stacey said, what about all the other vitamins that they might go down to unless you eat something foods? I mean, you know, the thing is we need a lot less than you realize. You know, we just need good stuff rather than bad stuff. And the thing is, if you eat like fast food, you're not getting any nutrients. You're not. It's just carbohydrate that you're getting. There's no nutrition there, really. And that's why you kind of, it's delicious and you feel full, and then like 20 minutes later, you're kind of hungry again. It's just, we have been programmed to think just the wrong way round about food. You know, we need to think of it as fuel, delicious fuel. But I just, you know, I'm always keep like salad stuff in the house. You know, I make chopped salads. Do Do you like a chopped salad, Carla? I love a chopped salad. Never had it? No? It's just a salad that's finely chopped. So it's like little squares of cabbage and kale. I mean, it's just, to me, a chopped salad with I put some tuna on it sometimes, buy some fresh tuna and sear it and stick it on the top. Half an egg. Lovely. Very vegan. Have we got any more newspapers left? Let's have a look. Oh, are we going to do our giveaway? No, we're going to do that in the next hour. Well, it's a $25 giveaway, basically, and I'll explain in about 10 minutes' time. I'll explain how you do it, and it's kind of exciting, really. It's like a little competition, and the winner will receive the $25 Amazon voucher. We're going to talk about the COVID death toll as well. The US is approaching 1 million COVID deaths, the highest total officially recorded anywhere in the world. I actually think by some numbers, I think the WHO, not the WHO, what's it called? World Meters, I think. They've put the number at well over 1 million now. But a new report from the World Health Organization shows several other countries recorded more deaths above their normal levels than the US over the last 2 years. So does the US really have the highest COVID death toll? And by what measure is the question. There's no international standard for measuring deaths or their causes, and countries record deaths in different ways, which makes comparison difficult. But experts say one of the most accurate measures is how many extra deaths are recorded in a country above the number that would have been expected to die in an average year. Many countries publish excess death data, but some poorer nations don't, or they do it far less frequently. Well, the WHO has published a report calculating every country's excess death count for 2020 and 2021. This measure takes into account deaths not directly due to COVID, but as a consequence of the pandemic, such as people being unable to access hospitals for the care that they needed. It also accounts for poor record keeping in some regions. Well, the report concludes that although the US was not the worst hit country in the world by this measure, it remains in the top 5 in terms of overall numbers of deaths. According to the WHO, in 2020 and 2021, the US recorded more than 930,000 excess deaths, behind India, that had 4.7 million, Russia with 1.1 million, and Indonesia with 1 million. The WHO's numbers are largely consistent with statistics from The Economist, which ran into 2022, as well as other excess death studies. Well, when adjusted for population size, the US slips down the rankings with 140 excess deaths per 100,000 people. But it remains a long way above the global average of 96 per 100,000, and it's also one of the worst performing among the most developed nations. So there's been, this... I mean, the reality is, because, some people, and I'm sure some people are going to argue this, they're going to say, well, how does excess death work? And I think, you need to be a statistician to really understand how they work this out. But basically, this is people that were ill already, and they wouldn't have died had they have had access to healthcare. But so many hospitals were overrun with COVID patients, or you couldn't go to hospital for fear of catching COVID, or, facilities were just not available anymore. They had to, surgeries and things were delayed or prevented because of COVID. These are the people that died that wouldn't have otherwise died had they have had the health care that they required. So Peru has the most excess deaths, followed by Russia, South Africa, India, Brazil, Turkey, then the US, Italy, Germany, Spain, the UK, France, and then Sweden. An epidemiologist called Prabhat Jha, who worked at the WHO on this report, said the US has about a 15% undercount using excess deaths compared to official COVID deaths. That's mostly a result of some of the early problems that occurred with nursing home deaths being missed. On the whole, the US isn't missing many deaths compared with, say, India, he said. The US has recorded the most deaths from coronavirus in the world, though, over 300,000 more than the next closest country, which is Brazil. But the US has a larger population than many countries, and when you look at the same top 10 countries per capita, the US is below both Brazil and Peru for recorded COVID deaths. It actually comes in third, Peru being the first, you know. Overall, the US ranks 18th in the world in recorded COVID deaths per capita, according to John Hopkins University data. Experts say it's also important to take the average age of a country's population into account. They said we should compare with countries which have similar age structures, as we know COVID has a far higher fatality rate in the elderly, so we should compare apples to apples, according to Bramar Mukherjee, professor of epidemiology at the University of Michigan. He said when comparing with Spain, the UK and France, as well as neighbouring Canada, developed countries with similarly aged populations to the US has actually performed worse. I mean, I keep saying I don't believe the US really has a healthcare industry, you know? Or it doesn't have a healthcare service. It has a healthcare industry, but not a healthcare service. There is no service. You have to do most of the work yourself, you know? You have to find the doctor yourself. You have to check reviews to find the doctor yourself. A lot of the European countries, like the UK and France and Spain, are reasonable to compare, and they've had lower per capita death rates. So it's not night and day, but the US is on the upper end of that spectrum. So it's very interesting, isn't it? I mean, I just get the feeling that nobody really wants to admit that this is as bad as it is. And also nobody wants to admit that it's still happening. It's still happening. Fearless Snake has joined us. Welcome to you. Delirious Lynx is in, listening for the first time. Welcome. If you'd like to message, then go to backchannel.tv. Stacey says it's exciting about this Amazon voucher. Wait till my mum hears about this. She says, I also don't like cabbage. Do you know, I don't think anybody likes cabbage, but when you chop it up very fine in a chopped salad, it's very hearty. It's very good for you, you know? I don't really like kale, but when it's chopped up very fine, it's kind of bearable, you know? Some of these things are... It's just like eating straight out of the ground, isn't it? I had some French beans yesterday that had been blanched, and they tasted like they were raw. Apparently they've been blanched. But to have them crunchy is the way you eat them. I mean, that's the best way to eat them. You don't want to have them rubbery. If you overcook a French bean, it's going to be rubbery, right? So if you have it blanched, then that's really the way to do it, but it still tastes like it's just been picked. I know, but there are some vegetables that like the French bean, which to me is just a little too raw. You know, it's like a bit scary. It feels like I shouldn't be eating it. You know, it's a bit like broccoli is the same. Like, you want to have it cooked enough that you know that it's cooked. And to blanch something means to not cook it through, right? And so I guess it's that kind of not cooking it through thing. I mean, with a steak, I always liked a medium rare steak. Carla, how do you take your steak? Rare? Medium rare? Medium rare, yeah. I mean, the people that order a well-done steak, it's very sad to me. You know, it's like you realize there's like nothing left in that steak in terms of, you know, cook it to death. I mean, what is interesting about having a well done steak? You know, I mean, I often used to ask for it pink, which I think is a nice way of saying, you know, on to the point. The French call it à point, just to the point, which means just to the point where the pinkness is perfect. But what also happened to let the chef cook it? You know, just let the chef cook it. Because, you know, we eat sushi, which is, you know, effectively raw. Maybe some things are a little lightly cooked, but in the main, it's raw. Yeah, that's true. The people that eat a well-done steak, they don't like sushi. They just can't comprehend. Yeah. It's interesting how we've changed, our palate's changed over decades, really, isn't it? You know, we're a bit more open now. I mean, I still find that some people are like, oh, garlic, you know, like people are a bit scared of garlic. Like they think it's like, they go, oh, is it okay if I put garlic in it? Or is my breath garlicky? And it's like, who cares? We've had garlic for like 50 years now. It's like, it's not something that isn't regularly used in cooking. I can rarely cook without garlic. I made an apple crumble last night with some bird's custard. Oh, man. Dreamy. These are kind of English traditions, you know. It's 2 minutes to 10 here on the West Coast. 2 minutes to 12. 12. 2 minutes to 1 Eastern. This is Backchannel. I'm Anthony Davis. Stacey says, she says, there's vegetables that are not so scary at all, like the green beans. Yum, yum. Well, each their own. Who doesn't like a green bean? Green bean is like a Thanksgiving dish, isn't it? To do green beans. That's like a traditional Thanksgiving thing. Okay, let's. I think we're going to play the US News Update next, which is a little podcast that I make that you can download if you'd like to, and it can be part of your routine. It's a little roundup of what's happening across the US, and it's just 2 minutes long, and we'll play it for you now. And if you like it, you can subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Here it comes. It's Friday, May 6. From the Volley Network, this is your daily US News Update. I'm Anthony Davis. Firefighters in New Mexico have slowed the advance of the largest wildfire currently burning in the US, as Joe Biden declared the situation a disaster, bringing new resources to remote stretches of New Mexico that have been devastated by fire since early April. Nearly 1,300 firefighters and other personnel are currently battling the fire, which has fanned out across 258 square miles of high alpine forest and grasslands at the southern tip of the Rocky Mountains. Fire bosses are seizing upon an interlude of relatively calm and cool weather to prevent the fire from pushing any closer to the small New Mexico city of Las Vegas and other villages scattered along the fire's shifting fronts. Airplanes and helicopters dropped slurries of red fire retardant from the sky as ground crews cleared timber and brush to starve the fire along crucial fronts. Wildfires have become a year-round threat in the drought-stricken West, moving faster and hotter than ever due to climate change, scientists and fire experts have said. Climate change is taking a situation that would be bad for us normally, said Greg Garfin, a climatologist at the University of Arizona, and turning up the dial. Meanwhile, President Joe Biden on Thursday named Karine Jean-Pierre to be the next White House press secretary, the first black woman and openly LGBTQ person to serve in the role, with incumbent Jen Psaki to leave the post next week. Your daily US News Update is part of the Volley Network. To hear my live daily morning show, ask your Amazon Echo device to open Backchannel. There it is, the US News Update. You can get it wherever you get your podcasts and download it and make that part of your day if you'd like to. Let's go back to some of our subjects of the day in just a moment. First, though, it's a reminder that this is Backchannel. I'm Anthony Davis, and you are here on the only place on your Echo device where you can watch and listen to live hosts and shows and chat with us in real time. I'm here every Monday through Friday, 9 o'clock Pacific, 12 o'clock Eastern. You can send a message, ask questions, chime in on what we're talking about, or anything else that you would like to send. And if you can see me right now and you're watching on an Echo show or Fire TV, the magic word is say. So wake it up, say the word say, and then your message. And if you're just listening on an Echo speaker and you can't see me, go to backchannel.tv and click join the chat. That's backchannel.tv and click join the chat. Okay, shall we talk a little bit about this rather brilliant competition that we have? It's a giveaway, a chance to win a $25 Amazon gift certificate. And here's how to enter. I'm going to set a timer for 5 minutes. And before the 5 minutes is up, you'll need to hit the subscribe button. Now, if you're using a visual device like the Echo Show, the subscribe button can be found on the bottom left of your screen, and that's it. You've entered the competition. Once you've done that, let me know by writing in the chat, "I've subscribed," and I will pick a new subscriber at random. And we will then send you your prize. You just go to backchannel.tv and you hit the claim button, and you'll find a button that says claim your prize, and that's at backchannel.tv. So it's very easy to do. We're going to set the timer, and you just have to hit the subscribe button. Super easy. All right, so maybe we'll give that a go. Let's see how we do that. So are we going to put a timer on the screen? Let's see if we can put the. Are we going to do like a 5 minutes timer on the screen or not? Well, maybe I'll just make up the timer, and then we'll count those number of subscriptions in that time. You see, it's very easy. Leo's joined us. Charlie's joined us as well. Charlie, if you want to be in with a chance of winning a $25 Amazon voucher, you just need to hit the subscribe button. From this moment onwards, we've got until 10 past. So it's actually 4 minutes past. So let's say 9 minutes past, and that's when we'll end this. So if you want to win that $25 voucher, then you be my guest. And you just need to hit the subscribe button. For those of you using a visual device, it's on the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. And that's it. You've entered the competition. So it's whoever subscribes in the next 5 minutes, and I will pick a random subscriber in order to allow them to be the winner of the $25 voucher. New subscribers only. If you're already subscribed, well, I'll allow it on this occasion if you're already subscribed. But new subscribers, ideally, just click the subscribe button, and you will automatically be entered into the competition to win the $25 voucher. Easy. That's how it's done. Sharon's in, Ashley's in as well, Descriptive Gopher, Defiant Pelican, Fearless Snake, Delirious Lynx, Charlie and Leo, and Yelena is in on the chat as well. Hello, Yelena. So, yes, just do that. You've got another 4 minutes to claim your $25 Amazon gift certificate. You just have to press the subscribe button on your Echo Show, or you can click it on your Fire TV as well. So there we go. And if you're already a subscriber, then you can leave a review. So all the same steps as above. You can leave the review, and we'll also do a prize for the reviewer. So if you're already subscribed and you leave a review, then you can get a prize as well. Sophisticated Hair is now listening as well, so welcome to you. So it looks like, Carla, are we doing two prizes? Somebody who leaves a review and somebody who subscribes? That's what it sounds like. Or is it? Okay, I understand. Kerwin's just dropped in. Sophisticated Hair's just dropped in. Leo and Charlie, so welcome to you. Yelena's here. Gretchen Novoskaya. Gretchen Novoskaya. I think I did it. Gretchen Novoskaya. Did I get it right, Yelena? Is it Gretchen Novoskaya? I hope so. I can't stop saying it now. You can just message me back, because I think you're on the chat facility. So just to make it clear, we're just doing one prize. It'll either be to somebody who is a new subscriber. But if no new subscribers click the subscribe button during this period, I will then go to people who leave reviews. So there's just one prize. Well, I already said that this is the first time we're trying this today, so it's kind of a little bit crazy, but we're kind of making it up as we go along. But there's still a prize to be had, nonetheless. I said that people had until 9 minutes past. So, because I started the 5 minutes at like 4 minutes past. So effectively, there's 2 minutes to go. Yeah. So we'll put a 2-minute clock up on the screen, and that'll be time up, and then I'll randomly select somebody in order to be the winner. So, 2 minutes to go now. Don't forget, the way you're doing this is you're hitting the subscribe button on your Echo Show, or you can do that also on a Fire TV as well, clicking the subscribe button. And we are looking for subscribers during this period. You've got 2 minutes left to do that. And if you have subscribed, just send me a message saying that you've subscribed. Just put I've subscribed, and then I will enter you into this draw, and then I will randomly draw a new subscriber for the $25 Amazon voucher. And if nobody does this, then we will go to reviewers, and you can leave a review, and do that at backchannel.tv, and then I will randomly choose a reviewer. Just let me know that you've reviewed by sending me a message that says I've written a review. Sophisticated Hair is here, Kerwin, lots of known names as well. Leo and Charlie is here for the first time. Delirious Lynx, Fearless Snake, Defiant Pelican, Danielle, Sharon, Ashley, and Descriptive Gopher. So whoever wants to be that person, that's fine. Is that the 2-minute clock? Okay. The 2-minute clock doesn't seem to have started here. Yelena's done it. Well done. Yelena's done. She's subscribed. That's good. Trish has just popped in as well from California. We are giving away a... Do you want to make that full screen? There we go. I love this countdown music. That's so funny. Yeah. Now make the YouTube video full screen, because then it doesn't look like it's a YouTube video. This is a very dramatic countdown. I'm really enjoying it. There we go. That's more like it. I'm getting a bit anxious now, with this countdown. Just getting a bit stressed. I mean, this music, so this could be like the countdown to Armageddon, I mean, not just a $25 Amazon voucher. This could be like the countdown to the end of the world. Turn it up. I really like it. I actually thrive on the anxiety, Bring it on. Uh-oh. I like the neon ring of fire. Okay, so you've got like 45 seconds to win a $25 Amazon gift voucher. The timer is running. For those of you using an Echo Show, hit the subscribe button in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. That's it. Once you've clicked that, you've entered the competition. Send me a message in the chat at backchannel.tv with the words "I've subscribed," and we'll pick a new subscriber at random for the $25 Amazon voucher. So 20 seconds to go now. Here we go. Yelena's in, Trish, Kerwin, Sophisticated Hair. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bingo. There you go. That's it. Game over. It's 12 minutes after 10. Game over. No more subscribers, please. Stacey said she's already subscribed. Yes, I'm aware of that. Thank you very much. Yelena, it looks like you might be our winner today because you're the only person that texted me with the words "I've subscribed," which is all I really asked for. So well done to you, Yelena. All you have to do now is go to backchannel.tv and click "Claim My Prize," and you'll get your $25 voucher. So well done to you. Well, that was fun, wasn't it? You know, it's nice to get the heart rate go up. My watch asked me if I was doing a workout, you know? I'm not doing a workout at all. So that was fun. We'll do that again on Wednesday. If you would like to join in, then you're very welcome to. Congratulations to Yelena, Gretchenovskaya. Hopefully that will encourage you to buy yourself an Echo Show so that you can see the show in future, you know, rather than just listen to the show. Or just, you know, I'm interested to know how you're listening to the show. But, so there we go. Well done. That was great. It's like a very Ukrainian name, you know? Gretchenovskaya. Could be Ukrainian, could be Russian, could be Polish. Maybe you can let us know. All information greatly received, put it that way. So we're going to talk now, or actually in just a moment, I want to remind you first, of course, that if you'd like to send me a message, and you can see me right now and you're watching on an Echo Show or Fire TV, the magic word is say. So wake up your device, say the word say, and then your message. If you're just listening, like Yelena, on an Echo speaker, and you can't see me, go to backchannel.tv, click join the chat. That's backchannel.tv. And subscribing, as you know, we'll let you know when we're going live. We've got some plans coming up for subscribers in the next few weeks. Another way you can help out is by leaving a review. Go to backchannel.tv, click leave a review. Your positive reviews help keep this show going. That's backchannel.tv, click leave a review. Let's talk about Karine Jean-Pierre. Because on the 5th of May, President Joe Biden announced, this is yesterday, that Karine Jean-Pierre will be taking over from Jen Psaki as White House press secretary, making her the first black woman and open member of the LGBTQ+ community to hold the position. She's going to start the role on the 13th of May. She's not just black and gay and female, but she's also an immigrant from Haiti, right? Yeah, she came here as a child. So, you know, she really is, I mean, she's it's just a very good example to set for diversity, fundamentally, you know, for American diversity. And she's super cool as well. I really like her. You know, she covered Jen Psaki when Jen Psaki had coronavirus. Jen Psaki actually said that, Joe Biden said that Karine not only brings the experience, talent, and integrity needed for this difficult job, she'll continue to lead the way in communicating about the work of the Biden-Harris administration on behalf of the American people. Psaki, who previously said she would only serve as press secretary for 1 year, praised the decision on Twitter, said she is passionate, she's smart, and she has a moral core that makes her not just a great colleague, but an amazing mum and human, Psaki said. I can't wait to see her shine as she brings her own style, brilliance, and grace to the podium. So that's kind of sweet, isn't it? Karine Jean-Pierre has significant experience as the principal deputy press secretary on the White House communications team. She has got a lot of experience, apparently. Prior to her position on the communications team, the future White House press secretary already built up a notable career. During the 2020 election, she served as a senior advisor to candidate Biden, as well as chief of staff to current Vice President Kamala Harris. Before that, she held a position in the Obama-Biden administration and served as a political analyst for NBC and MSNBC News. She's also done this job before, because a year ago, Jean-Pierre became the first openly gay woman to lead a White House press briefing. She said, "It's a real honor to be standing here today. I appreciate the historic nature, I really do. But I believe that being behind this podium, being in this room, being in this building is not about one person. It's about what we do on behalf of the American people. And clearly, the president believes in representation, and I believe him giving me this opportunity. I appreciate him giving me this opportunity, she said. She grew up in Queens. She's born to the French Caribbean, in the French Caribbean to Haitian parents. She was raised in the borough of Queens in New York City, attended the New York Institute of Technology. She later received her MPA from the School of International and Public Affairs at Columbia University. She was briefly a lecturer at the School of International Affairs beginning in 2014. She's a mum as well. She and her partner, journalist Suzanne Malvo, share an 8-year-old daughter. So yeah, it's lovely, really, isn't it? I just feel like this would just never happen under a Trump administration. Do you know what I mean? It's just like this has to happen under a Democratic one, as the Republicans become increasingly openly racist, with not wanting to teach about race in school or about sexuality in school. It really just suggests that there is this kind of lack of awareness of where the world is now. It's very interesting to me. A reminder that Backchannel's got a growing list of shows, including Kate Cocker's Everyday Positivity Show, which is on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 6 o'clock Pacific, that's 9 o'clock Eastern, for an hour of positive news and good vibes. Following my show every Monday through Friday is Your Pal Hal with Hal Rudnick, taking you on a tour of comedy and news and pop culture from 11 o'clock Pacific, 2 o'clock Eastern. And then, of course, there's The Drive with Mario Smith, weekdays from 1 o'clock Pacific, 4 o'clock Eastern. Everyone's drive home needs a second look. Mario will make sure you are in the know. So there we go. Something to look forward to, as ever, here on Backchannel. I'm Anthony Davis. Lots to talk about right now, including the celebration of our winner for our giveaway just a few moments ago. So welcome to everybody who's joined in for that very reason, and every other reason, of course. Wise Llama has joined us. Marlene has just dropped in as well. Yelena won the $25 voucher, so hopefully she's gone to backchannel.tv and clicked Claim My Prize. Hi to Riyadh, who's also on the chat from California. Trish is with us as well. Kerwin, Sophisticated Hair. So many people joining us right now here on Backchannel. It's a great place to be. As we've been discussing Karine Jean-Pierre, as Joe Biden announced that she's taking over from Jen Psaki as White House press secretary, making her the first black, gay, immigrant female to take that position from Haiti. So, it's just kind of, again, it's just a celebration of diversity, really, isn't it? And that's kind of what we're hoping to see, And I'm thinking a lot at the moment about how these Republican states that are trying to reverse all of this stuff, how do they qualify that? How can they not be accused of racism? How can they not be accused of sexism and bigotry? How is it possible to not accuse of these people not accept that they're being racist or bigoted? You see what I mean? It's like we don't seem to be having that debate where they are being accused directly of, well, you are a racist. By doing this, there is racism associated with this. Because their arguments are that they're just trying to protect their children. And they actually are saying that it's anti-racist to not talk about race in school. Do you see what I mean? That's their argument. That it is anti-racist to remove race from the curriculum. Not that it was ever on the curriculum. They just don't want teachers recognizing that race is a thing. And the point is that you can't grow up in America as a black or brown person or as an Asian person and expect to not know that there is a difference between certain cultural groups, racial groups, and social groups. Because it is so defined here. But Yeah, but how do we qualify it in school is my question. It's like, how important is it in school? Do we just allow? Because they're also saying that kids aren't allowed to talk about it. Like kids shouldn't be able to talk about it between each other, and that's the concern. They're just basically. Well, about race or gender issues. They're trying to ban any of these communications from schools. This is the whole point. It's not just what the teacher teaches, but they're trying to protect children from having any exposure to race or gender or sexuality conversations up to 3rd grade. They don't think it's appropriate. And it is imposing religious views on secular people. Effectively, that's what they're doing. All of this is steeped in religion. The abortion argument is steeped in religion, isn't it? It's faith that invariably is making people, want to fight against a woman's right to choose. They're claiming it's their faith. Well, I have a 6-year-old daughter, and I try and talk to her. And in fact, when she had an open house at her school recently, and I went in and I just watched her interacting with children. And it's not a particularly diverse school, it's majority white school, but it was very pleasing to me to see the level of integration with the number of kids that there were happening. But children at the age of 6, and she's not even in she's just in 1st grade. Like, of course they're going to want to talk about race. Of course they're going to see that some people are different, and we already teach her about the difficulties that black people have had in America compared to white people. I'm very happy for her to have access to that knowledge at the age of 6, because she's already asking questions. Yeah, I agree that children don't see the color being a differential as adults who have knowledge do. Stacey has to go. Bye, Stacey. Thank you for being with us this morning. So at what point do you introduce the conversation of how racism presents itself in America? Are you protecting your children, or are you, by educating them at such a young age, that equality... do you just ignore race and hope that they, because they are so young and they don't really care who's black or white, that is going to be beneficial to them? It's a difficult argument, but the problem is what the Republicans are doing is they are taking this to a whole new level by trying to eradicate any talk of race while in school, up to 3rd grade. Now, I agree, at 6 years of age, it's different. But, 3rd grade, the kids are going to be like 9 years of age. So what are they going to... How much do you want children to know? Maybe this question needs to be asked of black parents and black families, and whether black families feel like an education of America's social history is important for children at that age. Maybe the Republicans are right to want to ban critical race theory. It's not actually a thing, critical race theory. Teachers do not teach critical race theory. In fact, no one's managed to put their finger on what it is that teachers are actually saying that these Republicans are not supportive of. No one's managed to really encapsulate what it is. What is it that they're saying that you don't like? I haven't seen anything. I've read so much about this subject. I haven't seen anything that suggests what it actually is that teachers have been saying that is a problem for these evangelical Christian nationalist families. And, how can you even have a debate about this if you don't know what the crime is? There's no evidence of a crime here. This is Republicans seeking to change the law when a crime hasn't been committed. There's no evidence. That's why they started to kind of want to ban books and start looking at any books that taught people about LGBTQ issues, because that was like the only physical evidence that they could present that said this was bad. And these were like beautiful books, like beautifully written books that were just educating people that not everybody is binary. I know, I chose to ignore it. So, anyway, it's a very interesting conversation, but I really fear that there is a whole section of this debate missing, and that is the evidence on what it is that teachers are doing. Because saying critical race theory needs to be banned from schools, it's a made-up thing. There's nothing in the curriculum up to 3rd grade that is called critical race theory. What I think these people are doing is seeking to maintain a white supremacy by removing education about slavery and America's history from the curriculum. I presume that's what it is. So much of America's history, Martin Luther King, civil rights movement, all of these fundamentals of American history, they have something to do with race, because race is at the heart of American culture. Because it goes back to slave owners being white and slaves being black. And so, you can't just ignore it. So is that what it is? Is it that these Republican Christian fundamentalists want this section of American history eradicated from history? Is that what they want? They just want it whitewashed. Yelena's messaged and says that Georgia ranks 50th out of 50 states for people who are disabled, in terms of help for people who are disabled. So if you're going to make people give birth to a disabled child, then you need to offer the support to them. And obviously Georgia has made, abortion illegal, effectively. Yelena says, my advice, stay a fetus. Don't come out. I think a lot of us right now say, I wish I could go back in. Who wants to be out in this world right now? Jennifer says, Anthony, I agree with you. I mean, it's a much bigger debate, but I'm still waiting to know what it is that teachers are doing and saying that parents have a problem with. Because I've actually watched hours and hours of these town halls that school boards have been having with governors and angry evangelical Christian parents. And they're all screaming and shouting, and I can't hear what it is they're complaining about. And the fundamental of it, therefore, must be that they don't want anything about non-white issues or non-cisgender or LGBT+. They don't want any of it mentioned in school. They don't want it mentioned. So how do you get beyond this? Because, you're going to end up with children in 3rd grade who get to a point where they're just like, what's happening in the world? And then you get to 4th grade, they're going to suddenly be told all along that there was this thing that was been happening that no one's been talking about, that they're having to suddenly learn and accept. It's 10:31. This is Backchannel. I'm Anthony Davis. This is the Anthony Davis Show, as you can see. I'm here with you Monday through Friday from 9 o'clock Pacific. And as you know, Backchannel is the only place on your Echo device where you can watch and listen and chat with hosts in real time. You can send me a message, ask questions, chime in on what we're talking about, or anything else you would like to send my way. If you can see me right now and you're watching on an Echo show or Fire TV, the magic word is SAY. So wake up your device with that word, say the word say, and then your message. And if you're just listening right now on an Echo speaker and you cannot see me, go to backchannel.tv and click join the chat. Easy. And that's backchannel.tv. Click join the chat. Lots of new people joining us today. Oh, Gabriel's come back. Welcome. Yelena says they call it reproductive rights, so it should include men, right? But it's women's reproductive rights, or the lack of them, that the court addresses. Well, there's been so many brilliant memes about this, They were saying that if men had uteruses, you'd be able to get an abortion at an ATM. That was one of them that I read yesterday, It's true. If men had uteruses, you'd be able to get an abortion at an ATM. Man, the world has changed. Sue's just popped in. Welcome, Sue. Nice to see you. First time on the show, click the word subscribe. Yelena says ban vasectomies and protect men's reproductive rights too. Well, my theory on that is that they should make vasectomies mandatory. Reversible vasectomies mandatory. Every man has to start with a vasectomy. Then if they want to have a child, then they have to go through the process of reversing it. See how long that lasts. Yelena says thank you. Thank you. Gabriel says hello, so nice to meet you. So nice to meet you. Everyone's being so polite today. Wonderful. You see, we can have a very civil conversation about reproductive rights. Sue, Gabriel, Yelena, Wise Llama, Sophisticated Hair, Charlie is in. Gabriel says, what are you talking about? Well, we're about to talk about moon dust. We're about to change the subject. It turns out moon soil can convert carbon dioxide into oxygen, raising the possibility that it could be used to support human life in space, a new study has found. The report published in the scientific journal Joule found that moon soil contains active compounds that could be used along with sunlight and carbon dioxide to produce water, oxygen, and fuel to support life on a moon base and enable further exploration of space. This is very interesting to me, I think I told you I bought these new binoculars, and the moon is so clear, and there seems to be so many more full moons here in America than we used to have in England. I wonder why that is. And anyway, I look at the moon with these binoculars, and I can literally see every crater. I can even see like Buzz Lightyear's boots that he left behind, and Louis Armstrong's piano. And I look at these things, and I'm like, wow. I mean, it just seems so close. Well, if it is the case now, with this idea that, you could produce water and oxygen and fuel support on a moon base to enable further exploration of space, with this moon soil, with these active compounds, I mean, that's like next level stuff. It's the stuff of science fiction. They say our strategy provides a scenario for, say, sustainable and affordable extraterrestrial living environment. This is from Yingfang Yao, a material scientist from Nanjing University in China and lead author of the report. He said, if we want to carry out large-scale exploration of the extraterrestrial world, we will need to think of ways to reduce payload, meaning relying on as little supplies from Earth as possible and using extraterrestrial resources instead. It's pretty exciting, isn't it? I'd love to own myself a bit of moon rock. Can you buy moon rock on the internet? Like, do they sell it? Can you buy moon rock? I mean, can you? What, you can buy a part of the moon? You just reminded me, actually. I'm definitely going to buy my children some of the moon. The whole of the moon, as the Water Boys would have said. You came like a comet. Poof. So I once put my name in a lunar lander that went to the moon. I remember years ago, there was a capsule going to the moon. I think it must have been on the space shuttle. And it was one of these, what do they call them? The little robots that walk around the moon. A little A rover. Oh no, maybe it was Mars. Maybe it was the Mars rover I did. And you put your name in it, and they basically printed off all the names in miniature on like a little roll of paper, and they went and took it to the moon, to Mars, and they like dug a hole and left it up there. So apparently my name is on a piece of paper, along with Carla's name. She did it as well. Maybe it would be more interesting, this story, if we could find all the people that didn't do this. I have a feeling Gabriel might be 9 years of age, because I think Gabriel said that earlier. I don't know if it's true or not. Let's have a look. Sir, can I ask you a question? Yes, you can. Yelena says there's plenty of moon rocks on the moon. Elon can get you there. Gabriel says, what year were you born and how old are you? I don't know if I want to answer that question. I've got to the age now where it's becoming a bit of an issue, you know? It used to be the case that I was very proud to be 27 or 32. But now I'm like, nah, I don't really want to talk about that. I think Gabriel and Yelena are actually like having conversations between each other now on Backchannel, which is super cute. Gabriel says, Sir, can you teach me about the solar system and what's happening in the universe? Well, I can tell you what's happening in our solar system right now. It's chaos. Chaos. Gabriel, what's the question? Is there a question? I don't know. Yelena says, I believe in a very strict interpretation of the US Constitution. The US Constitution does not mention or protect abortion rights. Well, this is true, but people aren't quoting the Constitution. They're quoting the Bible, you know? The people that are anti-abortion are the people that are quoting the Bible. And I fear that, you know, the Bible, obviously, if you have a belief system, then the Bible is of utmost importance to you. But the problem is that, you know, an increasing number of people are secular, and the Bible has no value. And, you know, the argument is, if you believe in dinosaurs, which obviously is true because there's enough evidence now, there's entire fossils and bones and all sorts, that they were roaming the earth 65 million years ago. And the Bible, you know, the Old Testament is, 5,000 years ago. And the New Testament is 2,022 years ago. So, you know, how can one explain the creation if dinosaurs were already roaming the planet? Along with, you know, crocodiles and all sorts of, you know, woolly mammoths, all sorts of animals that were out there still doing their thing. I mean, even, you know, the very first creatures on the planet before the dinosaurs are said to be jellyfish. Did you know that? The jellyfish are the very first creature on the planet. Yeah, the jellyfish literally is the most, it's mesmerizing, especially the luminous ones. And when they put the UV light on them, you know, in a tank, and you look at them, and there's some wonderful, like, high definition videos floating around of this stuff happening. But the jellyfish was like the first creature on the planet, if you think about it, in terms of an organism. There's literally nothing to it. And then, of course, there was the sponge, you know? They say the sponge, also under the ocean, was, at the same time as the jellyfish, was the first organisms. But these are literally hundreds of millions of years ago. And if God created all the animals and the plant life, Adam and Eve, and the vegetation, that, I guess, would include the sponge, the coral, the jellyfish, the seahorses, you know? So the problem is we have a scientific argument for the Big Bang, and that now is obviously has so much credence associated with it that a lot of people have left the church. A lot of people have gone, well, you know, The church was fine until we had evidence of the dinosaurs. You know, it's like, which belief system do you want to be part of? And I believe everybody should be able to have their own belief system. You find a belief system that works for you and make that yours. And some people like to do some of it, not all of it. And other people like to stick to it religiously. But, you know, other people like myself and most of the people I know, religion is not really part of our lives. I mean, I just haven't got the time. You know, who's got the time? So, you know, I feel like some people need something to believe in. It's very important, you know? People need something to believe in. People who might feel lost and they don't have the ability to self-govern or self-motivate or self-manage. And therefore, to have a faith is actually very healthy, and to be reminded to pray a couple of times a day or whatever, you know, in the case of the Muslim faith or whatever. You know, it's completely, I think it's completely normal. I don't think there's anything abnormal about having a faith or belief system. But what's really important is we don't impose that belief system on people that don't. And the problem with banning abortion for religious reasons is you are imposing your Catholicism or your Christianity upon secular people. Because if you don't believe in God or Jesus and you want to have an abortion, you don't feel any guilt about it. There's no repenting to do or asking God permission for this or blaming God or blaming yourself. None of it. You just go through with the process. Because you don't live in the headspace where there is this all-powerful character who has got a hold over you. You know, they call it Catholic guilt. And the reality is that, you know, this is why America is starting to sound so antiquated. Because we learned for many years, 50 in fact, almost 50 with Roe v. Wade in 1973, that it is possible to make abortion legal and people still practice their faith. And what they're trying to do now is impose their religious ideals on non-religious people. And that's really the fundamental difference. And the crazy thing is, like Donald Trump, who advocates for this, is not even a religious person himself. You know, he doesn't. There's that very wonderful scene. Do you remember, Carla, where he was at some event and he was being interviewed by some religious, theologians, and they asked him to recite his favorite passage from the Bible. You know, do you have a favorite phrase from the Bible, or a passage or something? It might be worth us looking at. And to watch him wriggle out of this and say, oh no, I don't want to say it. It's very private to me. The Bible's very important to me. And he clearly has never picked up a Bible in his life. Oh, apart from the time he went down to the church across from Lafayette Square and held it up and claimed to be a man of God. Here's the clip of... we're going to look at the clip of Donald Trump being asked about his favorite moment by these two theologians. And they basically just wanted to get just a sentence, something to show that he had faith, to share his faith with them. And, this is a guy who clearly does not have faith, but is trying to win voters who do have faith, so he's pretending to have faith. Anyway, here's the clip.
We're surprised that you say that. I'm wondering what one or two of your most favored Bible are and why.
I wouldn't want to get into it because to me that's very personal. When I talk about the Bible, it's very personal, so I don't want to get into verses. I don't want to get into...
It means a lot to you that you think about sight?
The Bible means a lot to me, but I don't want to get into specifics.
Even to cite a verse that you like?
No, I don't want to do that.
You're an Old Testament guy or a New Testament guy?
Probably equal. I think it's just an incredible... The whole Bible is an incredible... I joke very much so. They always hold up the Art of the Deal. I say my second favorite book of all time. But I just think the Bible is just something very special.
So there you go. I mean, you don't have to be an expert in body language to know that he was lying. He's just lying. I mean, this is unfortunately what this guy does. He's a master manipulator. And he obviously wants to win the, evangelical Christian vote. Evangelical Christianity is the most popular religion in America. He needs those people. Those people have already given him a pass on the fact that he's a sexual predator. Of course, the famous tape that was revealed just before the very beginning of his presidency, or just before his presidency. People seem to overlook that. Aside from, the dozen women that have accused him of sexual misconduct, he's clearly not a man of faith. He isn't. He's a man of business. The thing is, the Constitution is held up in America as being this kind of, ultimate document. And of course, there are multiple amendments, and the amendments try and modernize it in some ways. But in fact, there's a very good message here from Yelena, who says, where is it here? Let me find it. It was regarding the Fifth Amendment, I think. Yes, it says, does the US Constitution give you the right to bear muskets only? It doesn't mention semi-automatic weapons. And this is the thing, isn't it? It was written at a time when a gun could basically fire 1 or 2 shots. That's what a gun could do. And now a gun can fire unlimited shots in these semi-automatic weapons. And so, this is why these same people that are advocating for anti-abortion are also saying, they're saying bans don't work. They want to ban abortion, but a ban on guns, they don't work. You can't ban guns. You've got to give people the right to choose their guns, but not the right to choose what to do with their own body. So, Yelena, you make a very good point there. Thank you very much. In Georgia. Ari has joined us, and Alec, thank you very much. And who else is on the thread right now? Oh, yeah, Trish. Nice to see you. Sure Hair. A couple of no names as well. You can change your name to a name if you choose to. It's very welcome. It's 11 minutes to 11 here on Backchannel. I'm Anthony Davis. Welcome to you if you're just joining us. A reminder, you can leave a review. You just go to backchannel.tv and hit the leave a review button. Not only can you send us your thoughts on the show, but you can leave us suggestions for upcoming segments as well. Should we talk about the Pulitzer Prize being awarded to John Steinbeck in 1940 for The Grapes of Wrath? Yes, he was born in Salinas, California in 1902. John Steinbeck came from a family of moderate means. He worked his way through college at Stanford University, never graduated. In 1925, he went to New York, where he tried for a few years to establish himself as a freelance writer, but he failed and returned to California. Well, after publishing some novels and short stories, Steinbeck first became widely known with Tortilla Flat in 1935, a series of humorous stories about Monterey Paisanos. So it's very interesting. I mean, when we were at school, we had to read Of Mice and Men, which was a John Steinbeck book, which became part of the British curriculum for, teenagers in those days. They probably would have banned it in Florida because, it's got some slavery references in it, But I do feel like John Steinbeck is one of those people. I like the fact that, he can be rejected as a writer, trying to establish himself, failing. And yet he still became John Steinbeck, His novels can all be classified as social novels dealing with the economic problems of rural labor. But there's also a streak of worship on the soil in his books, which does not always agree with his matter-of-fact sociological approach. After the rough and earthy humor of Tortilla Flat, he moved on to the more serious fiction, often aggressive in its social criticism, in Dubious Battle, 1936, which deals with the strikes of the migratory fruit pickers on California plantations. That was followed by Of Mice and Men, 1937, the story of the imbecile giant Lenny, and a series of admirable short stories collected in the volume The Long Valley, 1938. In 1939, he published what is considered his best work, The Grapes of Wrath, the story of Oklahoma tenant farmers who, unable to earn a living from the land, moved to California, where they become migratory workers. Among his later works should be mentioned East of Eden, 1952, The Winter of Our Discontent, 1961, The Winter of Our Discontent, 1961, Travels with Charlie, a travelogue in which Steinbeck wrote about his impressions during a 3-month tour in a truck that led him through 40 American states. That was from 1962. He finally died in New York City in 1968. John Steinbeck died on the 20th of December. And so, I do feel like America, it's so interesting, isn't it, how America really does have some of the greatest authors, the greatest playwrights, the greatest artists, some of the literally the best people in the world. Musicians and songwriters. It's endless. Architects. I mean, look at like Frank Lloyd Wright. Look at some of these game changers, real game changers. It's very interesting to me about how America on the world stage has, so many. I was thinking this about England. I was getting very nostalgic about England yesterday. I watched a documentary about the Queen's Platinum Jubilee celebrations, which I'm going to London to attend. And it was a very good BBC documentary, like through the years from the Queen's coronation. And I was like, wow, England is such a tiny country. And it has literally colonized half the planet. The British Empire, it took America, let's be honest. America had to fight to get America back and won. But the fact that the Brits were into America, it just goes to show that such a tiny country can just have such an amazing military and capability that it can, India and Hong Kong and Australia, thinking about these places that were taken. Very interesting to me. Oh, really? Ireland's had more Nobel Prize winners? Oh, I see, for the size of the country, like per capita. Yeah, well, Ireland is a magical country for so many reasons, Thanks for joining me today. There's 2 ways you can support the show. Don't forget, if you're watching right now, hit the subscribe button. Then you'll know when we're going live next. You can also leave a review at backchannel.tv. Click Leave a Review. Your positive reviews keep this show going. I'm here Monday through Friday from 9 o'clock Pacific. Just open your Echo device. Or say to your Echo, open Backchannel. And that's how you start the show. I'm back on Monday. Coming up next is your pal Hal. Have yourself a really good weekend. Bye for now.